And there it goes. Yeah, it's like that Dave Chappelle skit also with him too. It's like, ding, what's you on that show on BET? Oh no, that's the old price for you, Spangle. This is the new price. This is the new
It's the
price.
new price.
That's the new price. Like what?
So here, this is completely unrelated, but the Nux Taku, he dropped a 8.5 hour video.
Jesus.
It was over the season 2 of the show that should not be named.
Oh my god, he watched it.
8.5 hour video about it. Not only did he watch it, he watched all of it and broke it down.
I feel bad for him. I can't believe he's doing that to himself.
Mhm.
Yeah.
And the fact that it's worse than the first season. I didn't watch all of it. I skimmed like briefly, but it's worse than the first season.
I'm good. I'm good. I'm good. I'm just good. I'm just gonna walk away. I'm just gonna walk
Yeah.
away.
I'll just
They want that franchise so bad they can have it. They can freaking have it. Do what you want with it. It's all yours. It's your ball. Go ahead. I've got other things over here.
I got better things to watch instead
I
of
can
that.
go Delicious in Dungeon. I can,
Yeah, exactly.
rewatch Steins Gate. I've annoyed some of my yogi friends enough. Steins Gate crap. They're finally wondering what the F I'm talking about and what this thing is. So,
Yo,
so we're
yo,
gonna
let's go.
so we're gonna do a Steins Gate binge day.
You just have to warn them because I've heard this criticism for Steins Gate before. The first 3 episodes are slow because they're world building and introducing the characters.
Yeah.
But as soon as like episode 4 hits, people like one of them was like he watched the first 3 episodes like 17 times, and then you watch the next one and finish the whole series in a day. He's like, it feels like narrative.
Yeah, you should get up to that roller coaster, just let it go. And
Yeah,
just
you
drop.
have to realize that this is building to something.
But no. They can have that series. They can have the other ones too. I'm good. I've got my old stuff. I've got my Japanese stuff, and get more into more K dramas. I'll be fine. I'll be fine.
Get your Fallout deal on. How good are you? How are you on that?
Like I said, no, my wife is she's completely content of watching one episode a week or one episode a month. They come back into things. She doesn't binge things, and she gets really upset if I watch things. So I really haven't progressed that much in Fallout, and it's not because I don't think the show is good. I'm just watching with my wife, which is a terrible choice to do with anything. She also caught me watching Brooklyn Nine-Nine, and I'm like, no. I refuse to let her watch Community. It's like, she comes in, that's all. I just turn it off. What'd you do it? Porn.
It's better this way.
It's better this way. Anyways, hi everybody. My name is Harry, aka the Red Falcon. I'm sitting here with Black Falcon. No. Anyway, my name's the movie, aka the Movie Target. Here on an exciting new episode of Low Key on the Wheel of Potatoes Network. It's gonna be a fun episode today. Rhinehold posted this really cool article about this nuclear microreactor. I thought it was interesting and want to hear Rhinehold just like talk about it on air, because like he does really post things that are that interesting that I kind of like want to talk about on air, other than like there's other things. There's something that's going on that's supposed to happen this November that some people are claiming is the most important thing that's ever happened to in our lifetime, but I've heard this like every 4 years of my entire life. I don't care. This is more interesting. So Rhinehold, would you go say hi? And
hi, it's good to find out that really I don't post very much interesting things. I'd give you my socials and everything to follow me on, but it sounds like it's not really worth it. So
if you're interested in that big event that happens in November, yes, Rhinehold posts some really cool, interesting stuff. If it's just another day, another Tuesday for you in November, you still voting?
I post funny memes that are not related to any of that stuff. I don't post. If you do follow me, just realize I don't post anything about anime or anything like that. So that's where the breakdown probably is.
That's fine. That's fine. You can also post anime memes under his stuff. It's funnier this way. But we also got Black Falcon. Black Falcon,
Green Falcon. Green Falcon.
God, I watched that skit today.
I figured that's why he
when I
did
watched
that.
that, I was like, "This is hilarious."
It's a Key and Peele skit where they did the Power Rangers, and the black character was the Green Falcon, but everybody called him the Black Falcon.
Yeah, put it back.
So people have some kind of context.
Yeah, no, they don't need it in context. No context. Inside joke. They get that. They get that. That's all they get. No, but yes. So it's gonna be an exciting episode. Like I said, we're gonna talk about nuclear reactors, and then we're also gonna bring up because EA, can't stop pondering doing evil and somehow getting worse. I don't even know how they get worse, but they get worse.
We got EA. We have follow up with Sony, and then also Microsoft.
I just don't understand.
Yeah. Pirate Software was really good this morning. He said, it's like the game producers are looking around saying, I want most attention by being the craziest, doing the stupidest things. And no, I do. And then Sony comes along and says, hold my beer. And Microsoft's trying. It's like everybody just try to outdo themselves.
And then Microsoft comes like, hold up, I see your beer, and I raised you my stein of beer.
Just I don't know. Like, yeah, I expect it from Sony because Sony hates money. Okay, Sony doesn't like money. Sony doesn't want money. So I expect that from Sony. Microsoft, come on. Like, are you this drunk on microservices from your office products that you're like, we can do what we want? We've got Azure money to burn. Goddamn.
Well, you got EA wanting to put ads in games, and you've got Microsoft wanting to put ads in Windows.
Okay. Oh God. Microsoft already puts ads in Windows. Like someone's like, why do you run like it did? And I suppose like because of like my freaking Windows will just give me ads. It's annoying. It's freaking annoying, and I'd be understanding if I didn't pay for my Pro license. I bought Windows 10 Pro, bought 10 Pro, bought 11 Pro. I bought 11 Pro license, and I'm gonna serve me an ad. Fuck off, man! Come on. I can understand if you gave me the thing for free. Okay, unless you're going to tell me that this OS is really like $500, and tell me it's $500. Tell me it's a Windows Server's product. I'll buy that. Is that how I get rid of ads in my OS, my Microsoft OS? I buy the server license. Fine. I'll buy 2022 data center. Fine. Screw it. I'll buy the data center license. Don't care. Anyway, sorry. I just went off there. Anyways, let's do the first topic at hand and talk about the nuclear microreactor before we go off there, because apparently that's going to get a little ranty.
Oh yeah, that's gonna be great. It's gonna be great. We have a bunch of things to rant about in there.
Yeah.
So we want to talk about micronuclear reactor. Well, there's what's that?
I'm just giving you a thumbs up. Like, yeah, we want to talk about this. Yeah. I'm fascinated by nuclear power. It's a fascination about me.
To prepare for Rhinehold's presentation, I purposely didn't follow anything so I could be the fan. I could be the audience. So whatever, I'll be the one that knows nothing, because all I really know about nuclear power is that it has a terrible PR team.
Well, when you're going up against the juggernaut of Jane Fonda, it's really hard to survive that onslaught. But it is what it is. It doesn't help that you had a few mistakes.
Whoa. It wasn't their mistakes. It was the people who weren't prepared for its mistakes. It wasn't their fault.
Yeah.
We could have a discussion. Anyway.
Like I said, PR team.
I think we had that discussion.
We did at some point.
Uh-oh.
This is my diploma.
Ooh.
It's the only real diploma I have, and it's not really a diploma. It's just a certificate of completion from the Navy Nuclear Power Program. So,
nice.
I was background. I was a Navy nuke. I haven't been involved in nuclear power for 30 years, but or actually more like 22 or 30 or 28. Anyway, so there's a lot I have to remind myself of and learn on too. So I'll probably make a mistake here or there talking about this stuff because things kind of weirdly hit wrong. But a micronuclear reactor is really, and here's the breadth and tall of it. A micronuclear reactor is a small nuclear reactor. So, you want to move on to the next subject, or you want
to? How freaking dare you?
Like, I think I know everything I need to know about that now. Man, I'm so informed. I'm glad somebody with a degree in this could tell me.
I need to make sure you understood. I mean, it's kind of hard to break it down so the lay person can understand.
Hold on, let me find my friend with a literature degree that can explain it the same way.
Yeah, same way. All right, Rhinehold.
The comedy guy with the jokey jokes.
It's like this is a comedy show. It's not a comedy show. We are a serious news show. We are journalists. Yeah. Serious journalists.
Are we?
Yes, we're serious journalists.
I'm waiting for my people.
Yes. I bought you all journalism degrees.
Okay. So when I get my press badge,
we got it from you, Demi. So
honestly, I could get you if you ever want a press badge for an event, just tell me. I can get you. Yeah.
I was offered a press badge in the packet that I got when I self-ordained back in 1999.
Nice.
When I went to the ordainment of being a person who could do weddings.
Don't tempt me, Harry. I will ask for a press badge for Gen Con.
It was the Church of so and so. I can't remember, but anyway, they gave me a package that had press badges in it.
Oof, I think our name would probably get you paid.
That's what we do. That's what we get the press badges for after the name change.
Oh yeah, after the name change, we'll probably get it. You know, because they would dare ban a minority owned journalist.
Only talking about the most important things, like how subs.
It's minority, but I didn't see the diversity of women's voices on this podcast. So,
first off, all right, Rhinehold. I can't believe you say something like that.
Fair point.
It's not a fair point. We have tons of women voices on this podcast all the time. Okay, that you would say that, spread this fake news. Okay, all right.
We do have a female producer.
Mm-hmm. Yep, producers, plural. Okay, all right, and a female content manager. Okay, all right. All right. I even got one right now making me a snack. Okay.
He's in the kitchen making me my dinner.
Too bad it was my turn, my night to cook. So I already made dinner.
Okay, you're not wrong there too. Yeah. And I already did the dishes. Anyways, no. All right. Yeah.
Yes, we are. Yes, we are.
The micronuclear reactors. So this article in question I posted was actually from a couple of years ago. It was just like a repost, but it's the Department of, I think it was the Energy was talking about it. They are working towards, and it's not available yet, but they are working towards the mass production capabilities of small micro nuclear reactors that can pull between like 1 in 10 megawatts for power consumption, and also it can be used for heating too.
Can you explain that in gigawatts, please?
Gigawatts?
I'm sorry.
0.0082. I don't know. Gigawatts is a lot more than megawatt.
Yeah.
So, I mean, we can do the calculations. Yeah. Megawatt, gigawatt, terawatt. Anyway.
Yeah. So
so what it really is it's a small form reactor. They can actually put them on the back of semi trucks, and they're much more portable. They can be mass produced. They're portable. They can be used for instance for like after disaster. Let's say you have a Hurricane Katrina come through, and now you get this whole area is just down. There's no power generation.
Mhm.
You can bring one of these in within a day, just have it up and running,
and just like jumpstart the grid.
Existing grid, yeah, you can plug into your existing grid,
Mhm.
you get it going, etc. So it's really good. A lot of the military applications will obviously can be involved there. So if you need to put up a forward base,
Yeah,
bring one of these in, power up the base.
which is probably its real research capabilities it's coming from.
That's why the government is involved.
Yeah. And the back end, it's just more of, oh yeah. So if like when Texas had like that freezing event, just started zapping out the solar, blah 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 blah. Like a convoy of these could have came in, jumped the grid back online once the lines were attached, of course, naturally.
Yeah, well, and what would have helped Texas too is that they hadn't cut themselves from the national grid so that it could have diverted power from the rest of the country.
No one could.
But
No one could have saw that happen.
that's another story.
No,
No one predicted that at all.
Texas is not known for its forethought.
And they just have that cool little song about the Alamo.
Yeah. Well, there's only like a couple of Texas songs I know.
Yeah,
Look, Dottie, for real. I'm in Texas. Look, watch the stars at no. Sorry. No. Any people Hurting fans? No. Fine then. Screw you guys. Keep going.
So there's some still issues that they're working on. That's not available to be produced just yet.
Mm-hmm.
But one of the difficulties with it that's going to make it cost prohibitive, where as you bring the smaller form factor down and run the plant this way, the enrichment of the nuclear fuel has to be greater.
Ooh.
And what you may not understand about enrichment of nuclear fuel is that if you were to go out in your backyard and you were going to dig down and you found a clump of uranium, you're not powering anything with that.
Correct.
You're not powering a nuclear power plant with that. You have to enrich that by getting its isotope yield up to at least 10%. And that's where you take the uranium-235, which is a natural state, you enrich it so it's got some uranium-238 in it by bombarding it with proton and stuff, and then you get it to 238, and that's when you can start doing it. So that process of enriching that fuel is what's the most expensive part about getting the thing fueled, and it's why places like Iran, who really, really, really want to do this sort of thing, are having trouble because just the process of doing the enrichment is not easy
or cheap.
Or something that, that was one of the things, I guess, when if you remember the one virus that was created to actually kill people, was Stuxnet, wasn't it, or something like that? I think it was Stuxnet.
Oh yeah. Just I was like, you went virus, I went like on actual virus. Like, what virus was? Oh yeah. I was like, Rhinehold.
No, but Stuxnet was created specifically, and it leaked out because they weren't on the Iranian side. Their plans were completely isolated. Yeah. So it got leaked out and was being used for other things. But the main purpose of it was to deliver to the Iranian processors. So the rotors in the processors would explode. They would spin up too high and oscillate and then basically explode, which was necessarily designed to kill people, but because somebody was standing there, it happens. Oopsie.
What happens when you send code to something that's something you're meant to do? You're not there watching it. You can't control for that.
Everything works fine, don't you know?
Yeah, that's right.
AI takes over and handles it.
Oh god, yeah, that's gonna be great. Yeah. So yeah, that's like, so as much as some people like hate, like when you like the Americans always like here in the United States, we tell like countries like you shouldn't do this. It's like honestly, it's like you're almost saving a country from going bankrupting themselves from getting a nuclear weapon or trying to refine this stuff. It's like you will go poor. Which is also dangerous. You have a very dangerous weapon and you're poor.
Yeah, nuclear weapons actually take a lower threshold of enrichment in order to run properly. But it's still tricky to do, right? And that's why people are trying to create breeder plants where you put in a specific type of nuclear material in, and from that you can actually get more of that material out. do the nuclear process because it decays into different materials, which can then be more abundant, and that can be used for fissile material as well. That's why breed material is a thing, and that's Iran's been trying to work on those. That's why the Al Shifa plant was destroyed, I believe. It was blown up because it's a chemical plant that was making baby milk, but the accusation was it was being used as a breeder plant. Work on that.
Yeah. So doing the UT38 and weight process. So that's fine.
So that's one of the things. The other thing is, okay, so when they're designing these, obviously, since it's a portable machine, it's designed to be less needed for fewer operations needed. Like you run a nuclear power plant, you've got operators who watch that plant, make sure everything's good, blah, 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 right? So these are being designed in a way that with some newer technologies where a lot of that is automated. So you don't have to have somebody necessarily sitting there watching it all the time to make sure that when the power goes up, it does the right things to respond to it. It's getting more computerized and more fail-safe. So that's the other thing that we need to talk about with nuclear power in the United States is the concept of fail-safe. And it's literally what the word means is that when this thing fails, it does so in a way that's safe for everybody.
Correct.
And that's a lesson that was learned in the United States nuclear environment years and decades ago when we had a few accidents back in the 50s. They learned a little bit about how to do a fail-safe type of design, unlike certain other countries, which will remain nameless.
They don't exist.
May not have been as concerned about safety necessarily as we would like them to be.
Well, if one thing we've learned from history is communists lie, and and if they lie about that, they'll lie about safety, and they'll just keep going because no one wants to be the person that says, "Hey, that thing that we need, that's broken. We should shut that down." No one wants to be that guy. That's what I said. That's the most beautiful part about the United States is is people willing to talk. Unless you're a Boeing whistleblower, then
Oh no, they're willing to talk. They just, their lungs will look like something a doctor has never seen before.
Yeah, which goes to show you, if you go to blow the whistle, you have to just start talking. This the biggest microphone you get your hands on, or like just hire a bunch of Twitch live streamers.
God, I'm sitting here just like now's the perfect time. It's like, and this leads directly to our sponsor, NordVPN. If you're going to blow the whistle, make sure you use a VPN.
That is true. Back to the but no. Because there have been sites of not meltdowns. People that use it. Yeah, technically, we're tiny meltdowns that have happened.
So I have this conversation with my wife, was wondering about it. So we were talking about it the other day, actually. What happened in 3 Mile Island was technically a meltdown, but it was a partial meltdown of one of the reactors. It was a very tiny meltdown. The real concern about what happened in 3 Mile Island, as opposed to, say, a Chernobyl, is that since we put our stuff in a containment building already, we don't have to try to build one after the fact, and thousands of people die trying to build it. We actually put them in a containment field to begin with. Yeah. What happened there was that in the process of trying to get the core cooled, because what happened was the pump failed and the core didn't get cooled properly, and it started to melt down. It got too hot. To get it spun up again and get things going again, they had to release some pressure, and that released a little bit of nuclear, a little bit of radiated steam into the air. Irradiated about as much that if you were standing near it when it was done, you would have gotten this equivalent of getting standing in the sun for an hour, basically.
But got a flying southwest
radiation, right? So they ended up encasing concrete around it and getting it all, it's still technically kind of reacting down in there, but it's all closed off so it can't release anything.
It's safe.
Right. Unlike, Chernobyl, where they actually built a nuclear bomb, which most people didn't think was possible. But lo and behold, they their ingenuity, they found a way to make
It's an
that.
old-fashioned steam bomb.
Yeah, it was a steam bomb.
Yep.
Mhm.
Yep.
Sure. Boomy.
Yep.
Boom boom.
Oh, God. Yeah.
And what happened in Fukuyama was, natural disaster that still actually worked. It actually did prevent the thing from going crazy.
Correct. Yeah.
There's some water that got in that's getting released into the ocean, and everybody's freaked out about that. And I'm like, my wife was asking about that. I said, you know how much nuclear radiation is getting thrown into the ocean? Is that if you go to Lake Michigan and you take a little Dixie cup full of water and you filled it up with radiated material, you would dump that Dixie cup into the Lake Michigan, and that would be the equivalence of how much we're polluting the ocean with the nuclear.
Well, no matter how much Japan puts it, it's just a candle to the which China is dumping daily at this point. Let's just
but Japan is still only actually hear real accurate information about
information. So this is how we're safely dumping this thing in here. No, not China just outright just dumps. So yeah, awful times. So yeah.
Now, what are the dreams of smaller nuclear reactors of this kind? Is that eventually we're going to be able to knock this thing down in size like we do other miniaturization that we've done. Remember, computers used to be huge and not do much, and they grow in power and dropped in size. Microprocessors, that sort of thing.
Yeah.
We're hoping that we can do this with nuclear power plants too, and eventually get them to where you can have a fusion core for a power suit in Fallout. You could have one of those cores to do that, a small power cars, power homes, that sort of thing. That's a ways down the road, and there's a lot of technical limitations involved there, but I think that's what our people are trying to get to.
Nobody wants that.
Nobody wants a nuclear powered car, because that's what all fiction writers used to tell us was going to happen.
Nope. That's dumb.
Why would I have a nuclear powered car when it could just melt down? I'll just keep my electric car, sir.
Yeah, that's what
This can catch on fire.
Well, it's using the power grid. It should be fine.
I want a nuclear powered Gundam, sir.
Of course you do. I mean, let's be honest. That's why Japan built it.
Mm-hmm.
That's why Japan built it. It's sitting there, waiting for them to have the core ready. Yeah. The Gundam is built in Japan. They're waiting to put the core in.
We're a little behind on the nuclear side. We're working on it. We're trying to catch up.
Yeah.
But also, from another thing about the smaller nuclear reactor, the micro nuclear reactors, is that it's done so there's two different ways that these things are built. One is using standard technology that we already know, water cooled, blah blah blah, right? And that's something that could be probably earliest to reach within the next couple of years to get one that do standard. But they're also working on some that are going to be much more efficient to the point where it's going to not really have any kind of spent fuel to deal with after it's done working. They're designed to work about 10 years.
So my concerns is this is not going to be moved by a Tesla truck, right?
Are there Tesla trucks? Do they actually exist?
Good point.
Yeah.
What about nuclear waste? I don't want like some nuclear waste just dumping out of this truck driving around the road. What could affect me driving next to one of these nuclear reactors on the road? I don't, should the public be aware of a nuclear reactors on the road?
I mean, driving in a car, is that what we're talking about? Or the ones
the transportation of the micro, transit.
Yeah. So that was the thing. The other thing about this I wanted to get into is that these micro nuclear reactors are self-contained to the point where you're done with it. You don't take the spent nuclear fuel out. You just dispose of the whole thing. So there's no removal of the material. It's so self-contained and enclosed that let's say it gets hit by a bomb in a Ford station
Mhm.
on a field.
Yeah,
It's designed to not explode or release. And
it's
it's supposed
just
to be very
Mhm.
protected.
Yeah. So basically its own like transportation, like so like it'll just decay on its own. Just leave it where it's at. It's perfectly fine. Just we've got stickers on it. Make sure no kids touches. You should be fine.
That's the idea. And like I said, the ones that are the newer ones that are trying to make are going to be much more energy efficient. So there's not going to be anywhere near as much spent fuel at the end of the process because it can reuse some of the spent fuel like you do with a breeder reactor. You get
Mhm.
nuclear power out, you get more nuclear material out of it. You can still build off of that to continue the process down to the point where you're now just left with basically inert materials for the most part. So the that's the thing that's happened in the last 20 or 30 years is that we've learned a lot more about doing that sort of thing to where you can have a near no waste situation.
Yeah, but why are we doing that? Why aren't we doing this versus like the stupid like well, I like to call nuclear power spicy solar, but this weak, mild solar power, nuclear power plant, aka solar power, mild
Yeah.
nuclear.
So technically, solar power plant is a nuclear power plant. It just uses a different core. The core it uses is sitting 93 million light years away.
Well, not light years, not not 93 million light years.
93 million miles, right?
Yeah, we'd be frozen.
93 million something.
Yeah, light years would be something.
That would be bad. Now that I think about it, yeah, I'm sitting here thinking nuclear reactor, and now we're talking long distances. I got confused. No, it's 93 million miles away. So
91.3
that's what the solar is. But here's the thing: is the solar prices have so dropped on how much it costs to get solar.
Mhm.
So there's a cost of how much it makes to make a kilowatt of energy, right?
Mhm.
And it used to be that nuclear power is by far and away, and still is by far and away, the cheapest method to generate kilowatt per hour
and greenest and
Gosh.
greenest.
And even if you take out all of the insurance requirements and stupid government regulations you have to follow in order to get to that point, it would be even cheaper.
Yep.
But solar has done a nosedive and is doing really good. Now it's still an order of magnitude costlier, but it's getting to the point where I would feel comfortable right now maybe looking at putting one on my house. Right. When I first bought this house that I'm living in now, it's perfectly designed for solar because the where it's lined up and the angle and everything.
Mhm.
But it was prohibitively expensive to get into. Like, the cells themselves were very, very expensive. And now they're like a tenth of what they used to be. Right.
Mhm.
It's in just that period of time, it's gone down and down and down. And a lot of people say blame Obama. Who knows if that was part of it or not? But
It's easy to blame the black guy.
But that's the thing. So there's a lot of stuff we've learned over the years in how to safely handle the nuclear power stuff, and these things are really designed to be. Now they're not available yet because, first of all, it's just it takes a while to get to the point where you can trust this stuff. Like you can say, okay, we have no design flaws, we've tested every scenario, etc. And they're starting with the normal, uranium-238 water cooled reactor because we know how that works. We're very confident in that. We don't know necessarily how some of these other designs that they have will work at that scale safely. So we still have a lot of testing and learning to do from that. They may not be viable at some point, but we think that they are. So those are going to come online later. So the first initial ones you're going to see and probably going to be used in very, very limited use as a disaster recovery solution or with a very specific need, or you're going to use them for forward bases, things like that in a large scale global World War III that might be coming, or using them like maybe to power a moon base or a Mars base.
Iskeezy says solar has a mixed efficiency of 33% hypothetical, and the moisture are at 8 to 24% now in practice. Honestly, like whatever it is, I don't care. We need to be focusing all of our energy on nuclear power because solar is stupid and lame, and for people who want to stay here on Earth. But to those of us all of us, whose souls are not weighed down by gravity and want to escape this rock, we need nuclear power.
Now, I will tell you, there's a place for solar power, and that's when we were talking about the smaller form factor like the fusion cores and stuff like that. Mm-hmm. You can go out, like you're going out fishing. You can bring a little homemade solar thing to power your stuff, right? You can go camping and have a solar powered stuff to still have electricity and things like that. I have a solar power cell sitting on my roof powering my doorbell, right? And my cameras, because it's easier than trying to run power to it or recharging the thing manually every week. Mm-hmm. You know what I'm saying? Yep. I just hooked this little solar panel like this big, to my roof, and it just powers that thing. I don't have to think about it. So there are places, especially in the small form factors for house and below, where I think solar works well. I've always thought, and I've seen other people finally kicking on to the idea that cars should be solar powered, should have solar power capabilities, so that like electric car, your paint, and there was a place that was like 15-20 years ago I was looking at that they were doing this thing where you can have rollout film type of solar cells, almost printable solar cells that the government was really interested in, but you use that to wrap the car, right? All these people are doing car wraps, wrap the car in that solar material. And it use the sun while you're driving to charge those batteries. It's not going to be a end all catch all because you got rain coming and you're not going to get any solar when it's night and blah blah blah. But it's still a way to generate, right? And then I was always thinking about too is about using the disc brakes to power it and stuff like that. Well, they're doing that.
Regenerative braking.
So there's always these little things that can help. I don't think it's a one size fits all, only single type of power solution that we should get to. But I really don't like the idea of burning coal forever. And I don't like the way it works. I would rather have a clean source of material. I love the power for that. But I've always looked at it this way, is that we need to get to a point where we are self-sustainable in green technologies and green energies, but you can't just flip the switch and make it happen, right? You can't just say we're not going to do fossil fuels anymore. We're just going to do nothing but green. Great. How are you going to build all that green stuff? Yeah. Well, we got to use this fossil fuels to do that, right? It takes time to convert over to it, and it's always going to be a long process. It's never going to be like fast as we wish it were, and you can't force it. You can't just turn it. It's like if scientific discoveries were just based off how much money you throw at something. Cured cancer decades ago. We throw money after money at this. That's not the only thing. You still need to have the money to do the research stuff, but somebody has to come up with the idea that's going to solve it, or the discovery that's going to make it happen. So people are too hell bent on this, trying to force it to happen. We can have it as a goal. We can have the science communities are going to go try to figure it out. That's how they tried to figure out and found out about nuclear power, because they were thinking, what happens if you split a bond, split an atom? And there's a whole theory on that, and they proved what could happen. And that's how we got where we are now, just because people were asking questions and doing the research. And that's not going to stop. We're still going to be going down that road and still doing it. It's just that I hate that it's become a political thing, because you can't just say, you elect me and I'm going to get rid of cancer. Like, 2 of our past presidents have been running for office, you motherfuckers. That's not how it works. You don't just say we're curing cancer.
But cancer makes money.
It's okay. Personally,
I've seen how much cancer drugs cost. Holy shit.
But you don't. I got that so much when my wife got cancer, and her well-meaning friends would go, "Oh, that's just a virus. You should take this thing, and you drink this, and it'll get rid of it. It's all a scam. They already have the cure for cancer, and they're just not giving it to you. You know how much money someone would make if they did discover cancer and they were able to sell that? They could sell that. Oh my God, people would pay anything for that, right? An actual cure.
Mm-hmm.
Make a lot more money than you can in a lifetime of chemo drugs. Because let me tell you something, when you think lifetime of chemo drugs, that's not how it works. You give somebody chemo for a period of time, maybe a year or two, that you're done, because that body will not be there after that, because that body will fail because of the chemo is disastrous to a body. It's terrible.
Imagine the tobacco company that could have the cure for cancer. Listen, we've taken away all the bad things for smoking. Please smoke.
Now it's cool and safe.
Some people just know about you. You know, it's just like
we have a lab grown lung that we can put into you if you go. Don't worry about it. We
they
got
just
you.
bring back the Marlboro man. He's smoking a cigarette and has a needle.
I'm back,
He's
baby.
like, this cures the cancer.
He doesn't have a nose because he's a rule.
Yeah, it's the okay. All right. Yeah. So yeah. Well, thanks, Rhinehold, coming on and bringing about the nuclear.
Any other things you have about nuclear power? Can we talk about how like criminally charged the people in Russia should have been for building those plants the way they did? And especially afterwards not doing anything to fix the ones that they had until they were exposed by a guy killing himself.
I know. Makes you wonder, like, how many, like, what other accidents that we still are unknown about different things. You know, it's those things. It's like it's that these different coin flips of things, because do we know that Russia has more nuclear warheads than the United States has? Yes, we know this, right? But do they have the money to maintain all of these? And then what happened to all of them? We know they're missing. Right. Are they all functional? How dangerous is this nuclear supply hidden underground in places that hardly some people don't know about? Maintained.
We know a percentage of them were.
Yeah.
There were a percentage of them in Ukraine when Ukraine slid away from Russia. And that was the whole thing with the Budapest Agreement. Because Russia wanted those nuclear bombs back. And Ukraine's like, we're keeping them ourselves. And the agreement had to be made that Russia promised to never, ever invade Ukraine again.
And let this be a lesson to everyone.
So well, and everybody handshaked. And we even got in and said, we'd promise that if that were to happen in some weird alternate freaking reality that Russia would dare to invade Ukraine, that we would step in and help.
We've given them guns. We have stepped in, sir. So, do you really think that we would send our people there to go die? Come on.
No, it just depends on how, they didn't want to give them the money this last time.
Can we just buy Ukraine? I'm just saying. It's a territory. We don't even have to give them full. United States already have this weird citizenship thing for territories where U.S. citizens can go there, but they can't come to mainland until like a period of time. We have already worked this math out. We've done it. The United States have done it to other territories in the past. I'm just saying.
Well, but you're going to do it soon to Mexico before they do it to Ukraine.
I'm just. What, man? Yeah, because manifestation 2.0. I'm just saying, like, that would easily, like, probably bring Russia to the peace talks table, because no one wants a United States to have a border.
United States, like, if Russia doesn't leave, we're claiming Ukraine.
Have a border with Russia.
You know what would happen?
No.
The rest of Europe.
I know we have a border with you, so I said Europe.
Yeah, Europe is like, no.
Physical land border with Europe. Like, we're here now.
Sorry. Putin's out there talking about maybe taking Alaska back. So.
Yeah.
But he doesn't think the United States will do anything about it because we're too weak.
Yeah, that's fine. Just wait till. I don't know. Anyways, so think about evil.
Let's go down that road.
Let's go about some evil companies.
Which one first?
Let's do EA. Creators of awesome games from the past, like Need for Speed, Madden, Mirror's Edge. What other good games that EA has made?
Madden, but like 2003.
Oh god, that's the last time there's been an update to Madden.
like FIFA in 1997.
Yeah. So Madden and well, not Madden. EA,
Yeah.
EA,
Same difference.
same difference.
There's an EA that does not Madden.
Oh, God.
Yeah, they
Show
make the
me
Star Wars
those
games.
Beast.
They make the Star Wars games.
The Star what games? The
Exactly.
the best selling.
The Rebel Moon games. I'm sorry, Rebel Moon games.
Rebel
You're right.
Moon, Rebel Moon. So, anyways, the evil people over at EA have been pondering the idea of it to put into the AAA titles advertising. And then, so you could be playing the game, and they could, based off of your past purchase histories or other cookies they have in it, or whatever gives them things, can serve you an ad just as you walk into the game. Just so you get to the big bad, and I think it was like Kotaku had a good photo of the big bad holding a thing of Mountain Dew and Doritos just casually around the scene. It's like, just throw these ads regularly into your games. Now they're not going to drop the price of the games. There's going to be like $70 plus to $130 games, full of microtransactions, and they're just pondering the idea, because
you wouldn't do that where you would have like a service that you're providing for a cost, and then just suddenly say, okay, now for that cost that we were giving it to you before, you're not going to have to see ads, but if you want no ads, you have to give a little bit more. No company like an Amazon or something like that would do that.
Yeah, no company would do that. That's silly talk.
It'd be ridiculous.
Disney wouldn't do that. No.
Yeah, that'd be ridiculous. No one does that. Yeah. Yeah. Or I think my favorite is Roku. You said about the Roku one, they went filed a patent so that they could inject ads to the HDMI port. So like how I do use my Roku TV as just a big monitor. It was like the Roku TV serves you ad if you connect it to the internet. I hooked it up to a TV.
Yeah.
It's not connected to the internet. So like, great. I'm gonna have to actually go inside this thing, pull out the Wi-Fi card.
It's gonna be even. It's going to be even better with EA putting these ads in, because they've also talked about that they're purposely going to start using generative AI to replace large swaths of their workforce, which they just laid off. So the AI can put in the ads for you.
Yeah.
Are the ads like an ad break? Like you're getting ready to turn the corner to go to the boss, and it's like pops a big full screen ad up. It says 30 seconds later. You have to wait.
So like the boys
placement stuff, like you would have like in Fallout, where they had tons of product placement in Fallout, but it was all fake product. It was Nuka-Cola and Cram, things like that. They would just make it real stuff.
Real ads. So EA in the past has already done this in the past with the UFC Fight Championship. They did a spot for the Boys TV show, and it was a full pop-up ad right in the middle, just like
and they had real life banners at the bottom with actual ads in the middle of your game.
Yep, actual ads on the bottom of the thing. Like some of it felt okay with the UFC game because there are ads everywhere in the fight match, but the full screen over the thing everywhere like that, and it's just like, all right, that kind of makes us get a little bit more realism to it, but the same time, it's just like, I am playing a game. I've paid for this experience. Unless there's something I'm getting out of it, or if the game was freeware, like that was a free game that was happening. Shoot, awesome, cool.
So it's like Ready Player One, when the evil guy from the Evil Corp says that they're going to that they found that they could do 80% of the screen before causing seizures. Is that the kind of mindset that they're going with?
Like, I'm just waiting for you to pause the game, and then just when you press pause to unpause, you have to wait the 30-minute ad, 30-second ad.
Yeah, I thought about running an ad break as we say this while we're doing this. Let's just run an ad real quick. But no,
yeah, right. EA does need to implode. They're just slowly doing that by slowly. The issue is with all these layoffs and a lot of these tech companies is they overhired during the pandemic, and now the chickens are coming home to roost, and they have to get rid of a bunch of people.
They're also in this tech bubble of constant growth. There's no sustainability model or like a reasonable growth. Like it's this. Well, we gotta have growth upon record growth model of like P's investors, but it's just like, all right, some companies don't grow that way. Some companies, it's okay to be a sustainable company.
But it worked. It worked for United States government.
Did it though?
It's still working. Still working.
There's still growth. We still have positive growth. Blah 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 blah. The interest rates are low. There's never going to be any fall back from that, right?
Exactly. The Federal Reserve is doing a great job. When Harry runs for Congress, we can just allow that feed EA execs into pool of acid. First off,
whoa! Just make them play.
That's not fair to the acid.
I would make them play Madden My Team and not give them any cards and watch them cry.
I would just move their copyright protections. That's all I have to do.
Yeah.
Yes, it's okay to pirate their games. What? Nah, just remove that. Just EA.
Whoa, EA and Ubisoft.
Oh, Ubisoft. No, they have to go pure open source or divest ownership.
Don't you know it's in the game?
God.
Well,
what meaning does that take on now that we're talking about ads? They're in the game.
It's in the game. Yeah.
I just can't wait for when they pull out the Madden and all the announcers are AI written scripts where they pick every single. They have the AI go through every single possible name any person could be and just have it generate the name in a robotic AI voice. Oh, it's gonna be so terrible.
Yeah,
and they'll still have the same 5 faces.
They increased those faces because they got tired of Angry Joe making fun of them. They increased those faces. I think they added like 3 more. But yeah, it's going to be a terrible time. Like I think this is the awful Ready Player One future. Like these larger AAA games, which quadruple A games or whatever they want to call themselves, or they have less in value. They've given less product and have pushed us into these microtransactions, and now they're wanting to feed ads into us, just like the streaming services now. They just want to give everyone an ad into something.
Yeah.
It is, I know it's pushing it's wondering why like most people don't watch the new stuff or play old games is because like this stuff isn't there. You get a complete game, you get a complete experience, and I have to look at this stuff. It just works.
Like you have indie games, right? Vampire Survivor, right? Is an indie game. It's literally a 1-stick shooter. You literally just move your character around and a bullet hell happens around you. They just released a DLC for $2 that is Contra. They just like, here's a bunch of Contra characters. We made a world that is part of the Contra world. All the monsters are Contra monsters and enemies. Here's your spread shot. Here's your grenades. Here's just everything Contra because you like Contra. And here's all I want is $2.
Just give me $2.
Just give us $2. Oh, and we also have given you like 7 free updates and 3 more DLCs before this, all that were like $2. No in-game monetization. No.
$2.
Yeah, it's yeah.
And it gets people in the door because but it doesn't matter if you say one thing and then do another, like Microsoft did, which Microsoft openly stated that they need to have more smaller games with critical acclaim, like Hi-Fi Rush, which is a game that Microsoft had and owned, and then less than 24 hours later closed the studio.
Yeah,
shut the whole studio down, as well as a couple other studios they shut down with their most recent layoffs. But yeah, they took a game that was a smaller game that was critically acclaimed, that everybody loved and enjoyed, that they were saying that they need way more of in the industry, and just shut them all down.
Typical
EA. You got the game out and the game's now done. So what do? Reinvest back into those people, or do you shuttle it and save the money?
So obviously shuttle it.
Yeah. Yeah. Obviously, shuffle.
Somebody else did that too, didn't they? Recently, they had a huge hit on the game, and they shut down the studio that made it, or was it? Am I thinking of somebody else? Or am I
It
thinking
might just be Microsoft. They've done that plenty.
Yeah.
It's like they've
the interview? There was an interview where they Pirate Software was talking about this, where you see the interview of the woman, and somebody asked her about it, and you can tell she wasn't prepared, and her eye movements start fluttering, and she starts to. You can see like if you understand body language, you can see her just going frantically trying to figure out how am I going to get out of this because looks really bad. And she's just talking the whole time. You can see that she's just saying bullshit words in order to keep the noise going so nobody can.
But it kind of shows their issue. One of Microsoft's biggest issues is that they're having is that all their exclusive games that they're producing are going on Game Pass.
Yes.
Which is $10. You can play all the games that we release, period. So it's just like a small game
model for everything, don't they? Sounds like a deal.
yeah. For the gamers, yeah, it's great. But then you have the studios that aren't. They close critically game smaller studios because they're not making revenue because you guys put it on Game Pass and they didn't have to pay for the game.
Yep.
So they
when they do that stuff, they have to do internal metrics to find out what games being played, and they're use metrics for that to know who's the majority of that Game Pass, what game is the one making it, and be able to redirect investment that way. That's how it should. I'm not saying that's how it's working.
But the issue is when you have hundreds of games on this Game Pass, that if a new game comes out and it's slowly getting critical acclaim and people are playing it, but it comes out next to Redfall, which crashed and burned, and they still got a decent amount of players at the same time because it was new and people didn't know how much it was going to crash and burn.
Right.
Those two companies get the same amount of money. And that's not counting all the playing the old games that have been sitting there.
What I'm saying is a smart studio would analyze those metrics and know which games are overall making the most money for the studio, as opposed to which are the big splashes, which ones hit certain peak numbers on Steam and then drop off crazy, that sort of thing. There's analytics that go into that a smart game studio would then long term realize what the best path forward for their game development studios would be.
I agree, but I agree, but we're talking about Microsoft and Ubisoft and EA, who EA is the biggest worst case scenario where they just buy up companies and just axe them after they buy them because they just kind of want the IP that they're making and then just axe the studio afterwards.
Yeah. Put out a crappy product. We'll just fix it after post. Year and a half later, be a great game. And then you've got people who are designing games because, if it's about that pass, so now I'd have to design a game so you could keep playing it for months. So it's not a good game. I need you to have busy work. So go ahead. Here's some fetch questions.
Right. It's like if Hi-Fi Rush was a single player rhythm based action game where you had to attack with the rhythm of the music that's playing in the thing. Once you beat it, there probably gonna be some people that go back to it, but there's a bunch of people who didn't because it was a single player game. It was an indie single player game. They beat the story and they're like, cool, I enjoyed that experience. And nobody went back to it, and then it's still sitting on Game Pass. So that one-time price of it, and people played it for 15, 20 hours and moved on, doesn't compare to, Call of Duty's on here, so Call of Duty obviously has way more hours played than Hi-Fi Rush, so Call of Duty gets more money, and Hi-Fi Rush can close the studio.
Yeah. So you got people, designing games for it now. So
so they have to make the balance of it.
AI to create me 10 fetch quests.
But then, I mean, of course, we also have Sony, who, as we discussed last time with Helldivers, it turns out that a bunch of other games that are showing
You don't say the two part.
Helldivers 2, sorry. Yeah. It's unnecessary. But the Ghost of Tsushima, which is coming out on Steam, it has the PSN necessary attachment to it. Helldivers 2 doesn't because people were upset, but Ghost of Tsushima does.
Oof.
So there's a bunch of places that won't be coming to Steam for those locations because there's no PSN there.
And also, don't forget that Sony promised to roll back the requirement for having the PS Network
Mm-hmm.
to your Steam account, but they didn't roll back the country restrictions, which is now up to 180 countries restricted from being able to buy the game. Which means they're probably going to reintroduce it back in a couple months when it all dies down.
Probably when everyone's not looking.
Do you really think Sony would do something like that? Ron?
I know it's like a weird conspiracy theory that, I think the worst of people that have shown nothing but good faith.
They've only done good faith things. It's not like they only started trying to pull it out when they had to start giving out refunds and Steam made them pay for those refunds.
Yeah.
So, it's always fun. It's always fun to watch as these game companies are just killing themselves over and over again. And it's interesting when you watch stuff like recently a game came out, I believe it's called like Animal Zoo or something like that, that was produced by Donkey, video game Donkey.
Okay.
That has like massive, impressive reviews. That's a Metroidvania puzzle game.
Oh, nice.
It's Animal Well. That's the name. Animal
Well. Okay.
It makes
and a bunch of the reviews is like, wow, this game is amazing. It has a very distinct art style, which is kind of like
this looks
ambient with like a lot of animals and dynamic lighting.
Mm-hmm. It makes you wonder, love it. Game devs and new game studios would even partner up with those kinds of companies anymore. Like, there's no need to anymore.
Right.
Yeah. Because it used to be you needed a publisher because you have physical discs and you had to get the media out and you had to have advertising. You had to have this and that and everything else. But when you've got a game studio who's actively going against your product making more money, which is what Sony is doing to help the game developers of Helldivers 2.
Yeah.
Right. They're actively saying you can't buy this in 2/3 of the world. Can't buy this game. How much money they're now prevented from making. So what's the point of having the distributor anyway? You just go put that on Steam and you just go wild with it.
And I think the best example of the evolution of that was the Xbox Arcade. Because before Steam became so accessible to put games and stuff on, people were using the Xbox Arcade for like indie titles and stuff like that. So a little company called Supergiant Games, made a game called it wasn't Transistor, it was Bastion, which was an action third person action kind of puzzly Zelda-esque game. And now they're made Hades and just early access Hades 2, which is like their first sequel ever. And Hades was like nominated for Game of the Year and stuff like that.
Hey, I'm seeing Hades 2 in the Epic Steam launcher advertised in there. I mean, because Epic and GOG and Steam are like the three decent. I mean, Steam is like the best as far as treating its customers and everything else. I mean, they're good.
Yep.
Earned a lot of good faith. But GOG obviously is not too bad, and then Epic seems to be doing okay too as far as treating their actual customers well. But I know Epic does some things where they're paying studios to do timed exclusives, right?
Correct. Which pissed off most of the PC gaming community.
Right. It pisses off the players a little bit, but it also makes the distributor or the game studio money because they're getting paid for that. So, and then, that's, so there's all kinds of shenanigans in the background. I know, but with Steam, it's basically, you buy those Steam cards for a game. Game puts out cards for their game. Every purchase, when you sell or buy one of those cards, it goes to the developer. It does not go to Steam. Steam doesn't take any of it.
Nice.
So there's just a lot of stuff like that where they give you all this stuff for free. They give you these metrics. They give you the achievements and tracking and things like that. That a lot of that games would have to develop on their own. You get that for free. So why go to a Microsoft and hope that you can get
right? Because it's not necessary now. Because it used to be really necessary to get in the door.
It used to be did a lot of work, but now they're just taking 60 to 80% of your money, of your sales, for no reason. You're not doing anything for it. They're actively killing you.
Right.
Yeah.
Okay. So
this year though, this is Square Enix not wanting their games exclusive on Sony, mostly because Final Fantasy VII Rebirth did not hit a massive amounts of sales. I'm guessing it's basically what I haven't read this article. I skimmed it, but Final Fantasy VII Rebirth came out and it wasn't a massive
correct
success like the Final Fantasy VII remake was.
Mm-hmm.
They're fuck you. Fuck you. We're gonna put this shit on. We want this shit on Steam. People will buy the game there.
I'm guessing because when remake was on Steam, they were okay, so this player base who bought it, right, didn't get to, it still hasn't bought it yet because we said we're gonna be exclusive to you, and not many people bought it from you, and there's other things that and they're just having to deal with Sony's crap,
right, and they had to have a representative from Italy here and on the screen.
Yeah, you see what they did. The Tifa and then wants an open relationship.
Yeah.
Yeah, Paul. This Paul knows what they're doing. Okay? This Paul knows what they're doing.
I know what they're writing.
It's working for forums. There's we get that one gamer guy. You think he knows what? He can write this.
He's I got this.
This one's mine, bro.
I've been waiting for this.
Why is she still there? Oh, she's in the game.
Yeah, she's she's the main character. Is she? Yeah, totally.
Trying to see who the author is because I know
it was Paul something.
Paul Tassi.
Paul Tassi.
Yeah, Tassi. Yeah.
We do know a game journalist, by the way. So yeah. Always check the title of the author because you may know what you're reading.
I would rip on that one so bad if it was. Yeah. So it was a nice drop of 69% year over year.
Most of Square's games are locked into a one platform partnership. Yep.
Yeah, and it's costing them money, And what they and because of they have to look at because it's not they have other things on their platforms, and I'm sure someone finds we released this to all that these other players play these games, the people who play the MMO play Final Fantasy games,
right?
So all these people are playing the MMO on PC, but probably have bought this game on PC at their PCs, and
right? And when they realize what they can do because of Kingdom Hearts, because when Kingdom Hearts 3 came out, Disney was like, "Fuck that exclusivity, bro. That's going on Xbox."
Yeah, screw you. Right. And the other thing with it is, for what was it it was up until last year that it was hard to even get a PS5.
Yeah, it's true because everybody really, really wanted it.
Right. Yeah. It's only recently that it's okay to get, you can go get one. But but some people said screw this. Instead of buying PS5, I'll just go get a GPU.
I'll just wait. I'll just wait for it to come out on PC now because all the Sony games are coming out on PC, so people are just gonna wait.
Yep.
Especially the single player ones where it doesn't matter if you have a PSN account because you're not gonna play online anyway.
Correct. Yeah.
That's what irritated me about. I remember it was Darkest Dungeon. They had one of those exclusivity deals with Epic where it's you could go and get it on the Epic store on Darkest Dungeon 2, or you can
Mhm.
wait for it to be on PC next year.
Mm.
And I'm like, I don't mind timed exclusives like that for a month or 2 or 3 months maybe, but a year?
Yeah, it's one of those that was one of the hardest things to watch when there's a lot of games that try to release exclusively on the Epic Store and watching how quickly they switch over to Steam as soon as possible. And when they didn't, they just crashed and burned because they didn't have a player base.
Yeah.
And like the only exception is like Fortnite, but that's just because it's Fortnite.
Yeah, it's their baby, and they've locked in and the people who play Fortnite,
Mhm.
either they're locked inside anyways, and it's the only bright colors they ever see is that game, so that they kind of go to it kind of like a moth to a flame.
I mean, also Fortnite has basically become Roblox. Fortnite's also just basically become Roblox, where there's like, hey, modders, you can make whatever games you want. We'll pay you. We'll give you a profit share. Just make games for our Fortnite, please.
Freaking Roblox.
So yeah, they're basically
Just don't like
following
Lego.
that model.
Fine, it's fine. All right, before this episode gets too long in the tooth, we need to end it. Sorry, guys. It's getting late. This is gonna be a busy week for me. I went to the security board meeting. I was like, we need a schedule or dates to test all the backups. My boss looks at me and like, cool, let's do it this week. And I'm like, when I said that we need to schedule a date, I meant in the future. Like far in the future. Not this week. That was not the plan. I've got time this week. I don't want to do this week.
Damn it.
Do you not think it's going to work? Oh, it's going to work. I just don't.
I don't want to do it.
It's that coin flip. Was like, I know it worked. It worked last year, but something could broke or something like that. We'll find out. And I don't want to do that.
One developer put a single piece of code into the thing that causes it all to fail.
Yeah. Well, okay, so the main the way our company does, it's we get 2 different backup plans. One backup plan is that the engineers made and they're doing and they like it, right? Whatever. And then there's my backup plan, which I just use, which I've switched, which is just V, which is that one works. That side, I can get a printout report and Veeam to tell me it works. The thing that's not using Veeam, this is not a sponsor ad for Veeam, by the way. I do recommend using Veeam.
Proper backup solution.
Yeah, or AWS's backup works good too. It's basically like a Veeam clone. It's not as good as Veeam. I think Veeam's better. Maybe I'm just more comfortable with Veeam.
I see a lot of Veeam in the industry when I work with customers, and I have to find out about their environments for what I do, and they invariably will say they have Veeam backup, and if they don't, it's usually, we don't have backups, in which cases I have another conversation with them. It's different than the one that we plan to have.
But we need to do this first. I'm not touching anything until this.
I actually had a customer, and they're like, their active directory is having an issue, and they had 2 domain controllers, and one of them wasn't working, and I'm like, yeah, I'm not touching this until you get your backups running, because they hadn't backed up their active directory, and I'm like, no, I'm not touching it. You call, you get that fixed.
Fix that first. Fix that crap. Yeah. Yeah, so we need to get that done. Future episode idea that's coming up. I came up with this. I was trying to explain to somebody how to do something, and they looked at me with a puzzlement, and I realized I can either show her how to do this or turn it into content. So eventually, I'll get off my butt and get this drawn out, and I can do it. It's basically just showing people how to use an IPsec VPN or just how to use some WAN devices. So, if let's say you're went to a streaming services and they don't like you having different IPs, well, you sure got to get past that crap. That's easy. That's easy. Got $5. It's perfectly easy. Barely an inconvenience. Anyways, thank you for turning it into an exciting new episode of Low Key on the Weaver Science Network. We had fun today. We didn't get to everything we wanted to talk about, but it's okay. We always got next week, at least until November. Anyways, but But you can listen to anything else in the world. We just had to listen to Wes, and that's very. You're an amazing person for that. Thank you. This show was recorded at 9 p.m. Eastern Daylight Time on Mondays. Come hang out with us live. We love to hang out with you, but the 300 of you guys who download this show every week, you guys are amazing. Thank you. But I kind of want you to come hang out with us live, interact, talk with us. It's fine. Perfectly fine. I miss you guys. But, it's fine. You're listening to the show. I appreciate it. Listen how you want to. I know you enjoy that podcasting freedom. You can do what you want. But tune into us on twitch.tv/WeAreLibertarians. That's the letter R. Also, youtube.com/WeAreLibertarians. And it's on the Facebook page while we still have it for We Are Libertarians. But there, you can meet us there. So, yeah. So, what? I love my hands. Hand movements are cool. People love hand movements. That's what the pollsters say. Anyways. All right. So, yeah, let's say goodbye, everybody.
Bye, guys.
Bye, everybody.